Now then, if you've gotten to this point of the video series, there are a couple of things I want to do. Why is this blinking? That's me. Okay. Anyway. There are a couple of things I want to do before we finish up the HTML aspect and start moving on to a little bit more fun and interesting things. Now, I want to kind of just show you one thing. We have these folders. I want to put another folder. Now, you don't have to do this. This has nothing to do with... No, do this because this has something to do with what we're going to do. We're going to put this in practice. And everything here, let me do one of these. We're just going to move into the practice folder. Move all these into the practice folder. If you do that and you hit refresh here, it's going to come up with nothing because you got to put in here. That was a practice. I put in practice, if I can spell practice. And then we get back to this. Again, reading files from our hard drive. This is what it's doing. But I wanted to show you, I don't want to say I forgot, but I just wanted to show you another type of selection, and that is, and we'll put this over, no, we'll put it over here. That is the select. Select is a drop-down. They're not called drop-downs officially, they're called selects. And we're going to name this one selection. Open and close because we need to tell HTML where it ends. A select or drop down is something that you would see, let me think, a good site that it would have. Oh, well, let's go to Amazon for instance, right? So, something like this. Now, this isn't really a select, it's a drop down or it's an added list, but it's not really a select. I wanted something that's a little bit more select, but it's kind of similar to this, and you'll see what I mean. If you go here, and you say selection, and you go option, now we have to make options. It's kind of like making an ordered and unordered list, just that instead of lists, we're doing options. So that's option value equals, usually you start off with an empty value. Typically, you can do your own thing. You can say, select below or something, and then you close the option, and then we do another option value. You can do as many as you want. We'll say 1, and we'll go 1. Option. And we'll say 2, and all it has to be in quotes. 2. The value anyway. The other stuff doesn't have to be in quotes. 3 and 3. We'll just do those. Then we'll get, let's do a couple more. Let's go 4, 4. And we'll get up to 5, and that'll be that. Now, what I want to show you is, if we were to go to third, oh yeah, I got to change that here. We got to change it in all of our files, all of our links, if you will. Change that. Change that. Add practice to it. And practice. And practice. And the reason why is because before I finish today, you're going to have a folder series set up for HTML, whatever we're going to do. Now, let's go back, let's refresh, let's go to third, and there we go. Now you see here, select below, right? If I were to select one of these and then do an enter, oh, I forgot. You got to do it everywhere, folks. Oh yeah, and I wanted to kind of, we got a couple more things I want to do actually. Let's try it again. So if I were to go, and you go like this. Oh yeah, because I made it a post. Sorry. Let's do a get. Let's get the method out of here and we'll just do a get variable. Okay. Try that again. If you look, you see selection 3, right? That's because we chose the third one. If we went back and we chose 2, selection 2, because the object that is called selection, the select value we chose was 2, 3, what have you. Now, if I were to go to select below, there is no value there, so as you can see, no value. But if I do 5, 5. Now, if we typed it out, 5, right? That's the value. I could probably fit this all in one video. I don't want to, but I could. That's the value 5, see? So that's how you get selection values out of this dropdown. Again, it's not specifically called the dropdown, and to be fair, you wouldn't put it in your header because your header, you want links. You don't want dropdown values. It doesn't make any sense. But be that as it may, that's what it is. Now, seeing as how we're still on forms, seeing as how we're still doing this, let's introduce the file. I want to kind of get rid of all this crap. I don't know, I have a file here. Okay. With files, and we've done this before. Go like this, and you see null, whatever, JPG. Files are not, in HTML, they're just plain values. But when we get further into the idea of updating and uploading files and everything like that, you'll notice that there is a lot more to these file input types than what meets the eye. But there are several different types of forms that we can use. One interesting one is enc type, which is encryption type, equals multi-part form data. There are other enc types if you wanted to look at HTML form, enc types, right? You have multiple, you have www form URL encoded. I mean, all of these text plain, it's how it's processing the form. If you wanted to, and it says here, you know, ASCII, hex and everything, this is just text plain. If you did it in text plain, it would send it as whatever the text is. You typically would, if you did something like this, enc type equals text plain, then however it is that you process the form, it's going to come up as pure text. So you don't really want to do that. See, enter equals enter. Like, you don't really want to do that. You want to kind of encrypt it a little bit better. So multi-part form data will give you a little bit more. Let's get rid of all this crap. And we'll just put in the file. It gives you what it says it's going to give you. It gives you a multi-parted form data type, which means that it's going to give you all different bits and pieces of the actual form. Now, again, we're just seeing this because we haven't actually done anything with it. This is pure HTML. Pure HTML doesn't really do anything. We don't send it anywhere. We send it to this page, but it's not doing anything. We don't have any process to it. But I wanted to introduce that to you, and I wanted to introduce you to the enc types or encryption types, because as we move further along, we're going to need these things to sort of process forms. When we start processing forms, we're going to need to be familiar with this. So like I said, enc type, multi-part form data is usually the only one. By default, I think it's going to just be URL encoded, which means that it'll change it to a URL encoded data stream like this. But if you do enc type multi-part form data, you can actually take the information in the file, and there's a lot of information in files. You can take that and you can make it into a multi-parted form data type, which then you can process however you want with its name, its type, so on and so forth, and break it down as you need to save it. Again, we're not there yet, but I wanted to introduce you to that form type here in HTML, seeing as how you gotten this far. Once more, it doesn't look impressive now because we're doing pure HTML, But as we move along, you'll see. Now, one more thing before we move on to the last part of this HTML5, and really this is all HTML is. It's what we've got here. But before we start actually putting together a website and everything, what I need to show you is we want to further our knowledge of anchor tags. As you can see here, anchor tag, aref, ahref, whatever, this is just taking us to a different page, right? That's all it's doing. We're not doing anything else, we're just going to a different page, taking us to a new URL and everything. There are different ways you can do that with anchor tags. And one keyword or attribute is target. Now with target, we can go to blank, and it's an underscore first, right? If we target blank, which one did I do that with? Then, oh, we're on the, okay, so let's go to third. If I target blank, then it'll open in a new window, right? That's what target blank is. If you ever went to a website where it says click here and then you click there and it goes to a new window, that's target blank. There again are other attributes. There is, I think, new, is it? Let's look at this for a second. HTML, href, target. So here's the target attribute. So there is self, which means that's the default one. That just takes you back to the same window. So many of these I never use. Blank I use all the time. When we went back to home, it would just take us back. That's the bit. You don't even need to put that in there. There's parent, which would take you back to the parent window. Let me just see. So we go here and we go there. You know, pretty much the same thing. But I think if we went to another one, let's see, that was, yeah, that's high. If we went to another one, it would just take us back to. So if we went here and we went to third and then we went home, no, it's pretty much the same thing. And then there's top. I've never done top before. That's what she said. Okay, top. It's really not that different. I mean, if you look at this, it says link document in the parent frame. I mean, opens link. You really, there's really nothing to do with these. We're not going to really use those, but I just want to make you aware of them. Also, if you ever wanted to do an email link, what you can always do is mail to equals, and then you could do, you can put in any email address. I'll put in mine, Bookman. No, let's put in the, let's put that one in. By default, it's going to open up, because I have a Windows, it's going to open up a, it's going to open up, oh wait, I did that wrong, hold on. I haven't used the mail to in a while, let me just see. It's not like this, 1 second, let me just see. I wanted to show off, there we go. And right, that's how you do it, okay, my fault. So we got to get rid of this, and we got to go like this. Mail to, and that's how that's how you put it in. You put it in as a link, like you put in. I mean, obviously it's the reference. It's my fault. Sorry. Again, it's been years since I've used a mail to, and all it's going to do is it's going to defer to whatever you use. I use Microsoft Windows, so it's going to use Microsoft Mail. Again, you can do that. You can have, say, a mail to reference, and when you have a mail to reference, you can just have it, like you could say something like, email us here. You know, let's do that. Let's go email us here. Something along those lines. And when you do, you can click on it and then this will show up. As you can see, it's not changing color because it's not used. It's used, but it's not. It hasn't taken, like, that's if something's been visited. It'll do that. It'll have this color. This is not visiting anywhere. It's just opening up a mail to link. And then as you can see, you can just use whatever mail. You could do that, but we are going to make functions and objects and everything later on with our backend programming so that we can actually send emails based on what we've emailed to whoever we want to email to. But if you're in a rush or whatever and you want to make a nice looking website, seems professional, you can always do the href is a mail to. And there may be other ways, but there's really, HTML is pretty obvious. It's pretty straight up. But that's all I wanted to show you with HTML itself and the different tools and skills and everything that we're going to use. Like I said, HTML5 is a good tool to use. It's just that a lot of what you do, the differentiations between HTML, and I mean, I could show you, we got some time. Well, let me show you something else. I mean, again, 15 minutes, come on. We got so much time. Let's do a table, okay? Let's do a table. You're probably waiting for it. You're probably saying, wait a minute, where's the damn table? Let's do a table, okay? We'll get rid of this. Tables. Tables are really not all that used anymore in HTML due to the fact that you can use CSS to list things specific ways and whatever. But back in the old days, back in my day, we would use tables. And tables are a good means to order specific bits of data. So if you had tables and you can do a table row, right? Like this, open up a table row. Actually, we're going to do the table head first. Let's do table head. And within whatever it is that you're heading, you say a table data. TD, TH. So the table head, table data will be like, I don't know, name, do everything that everybody else does. And within that table head, you would just keep putting table data in there. Place, I don't know, whatever. And personality. Right. This is on another. So let's go like this, go to another. So as you can see, it's listing like that. And then after table head, we want to go table row. And we go like that, table row, and then the same thing, table data. Omnipotus. Nipotus. Space. Maniacal. If you don't know who that is, you don't watch enough Tick animated series. Okay. And as you can see, it goes like that. Now, you would format it differently with, like this is, wait a minute. You would format it differently with CSS. But, I mean, actually, we should go like this. I don't know why table, they leave room like that. They leave room for the, I don't know why. It's just, but whatever. Okay, so then you would do that, and then you would go like, I think that, I don't think this is, but anyway, so in each row that you would fill in would be, how you could set, again, this is just if you're, you can use tables for like if you're printing out a form or a file or something like that on your website. You can go gelatinous. There's a new character I just made up. Fridge. And gluttonous. If I can spell gluttonous right. I don't think I did. Anyway. And then you see, and you would just keep rowing tables and whatever. Again, this is how it's set up. Okay? And the HTML knows how to leave space for each row based on what's the longest one here. Now there are also borders that you can put in there. I mean, like I would do it in CSS, but you put like table border, and then you could just, let me see if I can get that format right. Again, I'm looking it up because I haven't done this stuff in a while, so that's it. Probably should have refined it, but okay. So I was wrong. It's table row, and then it's table heads in the that. But again, you would use CSS for, you could do the same thing with CSS. It would not be a big deal. Always go with your first instincts. But if you want to do borders, to sort of have it like this, I mean, again, they're styling it with CSS, which we're not up to, but you could do like border color and everything. You would have to do inline styling. I will show you inline styling, but you know, as you can see now, the table head is now that we've done it right, table head is bold, everything else is regular, and they center it, which again with CSS you can alter that as well. But that's table head, table data, and stuff like that. We're not really gonna. The reason why I wasn't thinking of it is because I'm not really gonna use them. If you want, I could show you how to use them in a dynamic website and everything, but we're really not going to be doing that. Maybe I will, depending on what kind of site we're going to make. But I'm looking more for like we're going to do a social type network. I mean, there is padding and spacing. You know, you could do all, but again, this is all just CSS. We're not going to worry about that right now. This right here, though, the column span, you could do something like that, column span. And if you do that, then it gives you a column span. It gives you like column border. I mean, it's really not. Sorry, wrong place. It's really not like necessary because you would use CSS, but we're probably not going to be doing that. Tables. I just wanted to show you that they're there. See, it's stupid. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, if you did it for all of them, it would be a little more evenly spaced out, but then you would have to do it for all of them. I will show you, now that I think about it, I probably should show you how you would style it in CSS and not just use straight up HTML for it. But, and you know, if you do that, as you can see, things just get spaced out more, and then you have to kind of do it for all of them. But anyway, that's pretty much all you need to know with HTML. And as you can see, like I said, it's not so much the tags, it's not so much what you're doing. It's understanding exactly why and how it all works. It's coding, it's putting things together using these tags or whatever, and knowing what those tags do for you. That's the key. We already did the meta stuff. And we're going to go into more files and everything in the next video. So I'll be back in a minute.